I could go up here, I go down there, it's all the same to me.
Hello.
Hello, this is dumb. You're the final editor, so we'll see what makes it. Hello, I'm Andy.
I'm Nancy.
Welcome back.
So today is moving day. Today is actually the day we are leaving Poudre Canyon. We are leaving the campground. We are actually going to be making our way all the way to back to the Tamarack Ranch State Wildlife Area, where we kind of started our stay in Colorado this year. That's the first place we spent the night when we got here, and it's the last place we're going to spend the night tonight before we leave Colorado in the morning. This is always... Oh, my nose itches. This is always really bittersweet. I say always like I do this a lot, but it's bittersweet because I love Colorado. And while I enjoy Minnesota in every season but winter, it's also bittersweet going back there because the kids went ahead of us, and the kids went back to Minnesota ahead of us and are actually looking for an apartment. And pretty soon it'll just be Andy and I on the bus.
We spent the summer, well, mostly me, I don't know how many times you drove the road, but we really got to learn this canyon road the more times we drove it. And drove it. And drove it. And it's really the only road to town is...
I think I got to know it pretty well as a passenger, though. Because you're right, I didn't drive it very much. I went down to Fort Collins by myself a couple times, and with Allison a few times, but most of the time I went down with Andy, and he did most of the driving, because he likes driving on those roads.
I enjoy driving the road. I think it's fun. I like driving all curvy roads. What's off the edges? I don't know if it goes up or it goes down or it goes flat. It's really not a big difference. I don't drive off the road very often. I stay on the road, and a lot of people on these roads are afraid what's off the edges of the road.
Yeah. The second half of the summer, we stayed at the west end of the canyon, and that I don't mind the drive from there down to, it was the fire station where it splits. It was almost at the fire station where it splits. You can tell you're in a is it a county line change? No, that's all in one county.
It's all the same county.
It's just where the road changes.
Yeah.
And you have shoulders.
The further west you go, the more shoulders you get.
You said that way better. Short. You said that way better than I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you go west,
I just was really rambly. Sorry.
Yeah. As you go west, they just constantly get better. If it's rained, there's a handful of spots on this road that rocks will be on the road. It doesn't take much of a rain, and there will be rocks on the road when you come around those corners, and that's probably not a good idea to hit with speed.
Well, and there's one area that is actually not in a cornered area where there is a lot of fire damage, so there's not a lot of root activity, and we actually came up onto it while there was a city or county, whatever vehicle there, actually, what was it, front end loader, scooping all the mud off the road. We had to wait for him a little while so we could get through. It was just a little rainy that day. I didn't think it was as rainy as mudslides that day, but when you're dealing with land that has been in a wildfire and everything has been burned away, you don't have anything to hold back the soil, so it just washes down the hillside.
Yeah. as we leave on the bus, there's 2 people as coming around the corner that are half or more in my lane because they're afraid of what's off the other side of the road. Stay in your lane. Don't be afraid of the road. Stay in your lane.
That white pickup truck was halfway in my lane. That's why I made that turn.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people don't stay in their lane. There's a couple of corners when you have something the size of our bus, or especially the semis, you can't stay in your lane. You have to use more than your lane, especially if you're going west. Going east is not quite as, it's still kind of as bad. But going west is worse.
Yeah,
There's 3 or 4 corners that, if you meet a semi on those, you better be careful because they're using more than their lane, and that's their only choice.
Well, and you really learn that on roads like that, it doesn't matter that traffic is riding up your ass because the speed limit is 35 and oh my God, you're going 35 because the corners are like 15-mile-an-hour corners and you actually have to go 15 around those corners because if you go too fast and you go around that corner and there's a semi in your lane, you have no reaction time. But that being said, when you're driving on a road like that and you see these signs on the shoulder that say slow traffic pull off and you have 7 cars behind you, be aware that you are the slow traffic. And when it says slow traffic pull off and then there's a big area on the side of the road for someone to pull over.
Yeah,
and watch that line of cars go by you and get so far ahead of you that you will never see them again.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Drive whatever speed you feel safe, stay in your lane, and use the slow vehicle pull-offs.
Yeah, don't feel like you have to go fast. Use the slow vehicle pull-offs. Some people, men, don't like to admit that they're going slow and that they should get off the road and get out of people's way. Not you, never had a problem with that. If you
drive slow.
Well, no, but like with the bus, you got out of people's way. And a couple times in the van, because we couldn't go super fast because we were pulling something. For some reason, this was the scariest part of this drive for me. And even driving it hundreds of times and getting used to the canyon and not being scared on these roads at all, that corner always scared me. I don't know why. I mean, I really don't. My view is so much shorter here. Don't cut this one short, don't cut it short, don't cut it short, don't cut it short. Oh my God, oh my God.
It was in my lane too.
Coming and going from the canyon is, if you don't pay attention to your time, could be a really, really tough drive.
Yeah, it's more so, it didn't really happen to me in the morning. I didn't go down to Fort Collins at sunrise very often. Coming home from Fort Collins, I'd prefer to come home after dark when we go down there, because it's a hour and a half, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending upon where we were driving down to there.
Yeah.
So you usually spent most of the day down there. You didn't just run to town.
No, not at all.
And I preferred coming back after dark, because then you knew if a car was coming at you around that corner because you could see their headlights. So it really allows you to see further. At least it doesn't allow you to see animals further, and you don't want to hit an animal in the road. No.
One thing we did notice was that mule deer didn't seem to want to enter the roadway. You'd go by them and you'd all of a sudden realize they were there as you were passing them, and they'd just stand there and look at you. They weren't like white-tailed deer.
Yeah, they stood on the shoulders a lot. They didn't really stand in the middle of the road.
No, not at all.
Quarter mile. right on 287 south.
Turkeys! That is the second plane to come in since I've been sitting here. I'm not sure today is a day I'd feel comfortable flying a plane that small and landing a plane that small. Can you even see it anymore? Is my antenna in the way? I don't even know where it is. So we stopped to use the bathroom on the off or on ramp here in Iowa, and it is crazy windy today. You can see it, just dust all over. I mean, obviously because that car is kicking it up, but that haze you see in the background there, that's dust coming across the fields. When I went into the bus to use the bathroom, I almost fell down the hill into the ditch, trying to close the door because the wind was so strong that it's blowing towards the bus. So I had to close the door back this way, and that was a chore. That was a challenge. I did it, and I didn't wipe out, and I got it locked again so I could get back here, but if you don't have to travel when the wind is like this, and you're driving that, oof, God, it's dirty. I recommend waiting.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.
Bye. Now instead of looking like I'm sitting on top of you, it looks like you're sitting on top of me. That's better.